CIA officer and Army veteran who served as a senior intelligence advisor to the House Homeland Security Committee, Joshua Katz. All right, Joshua, am I wrong?
You are not wrong, and in fact, you're spot on. And there's a couple things here that I think we need to start with. You are not being alarmist. What you are doing is you are having an adult conversation about a really hard topic, right? This is a topic that the administration's not wanted to talk about. We need, as adults, to talk about it, because if we do not talk about it, we can't share the information. If we don't have the information, we can't prepare for anything. Right, so let's start there. This is a great discussion to have, and I think the question is, are they here now, right? Are they here? And my sources are telling me, at least in the Boston area alone, right, we're looking at tens of these guys. That's in Boston area, right? So you can only imagine what's going on in the rest of the country. They're here now. All
right, Joshua. Now you have advised senior members of Congress. You're a former CIA. You're a veteran. When you advised the senior members of Congress on the, I believe it was the Homeland Security Committee, you actually told them about ISIS. What was their response?
We had discussions about this well over a year ago. And you know, at that point, this was a classified discussion. And they were very, very worried about the spread of ISIS. They were worried about the capabilities of ISIS.
But what did they do?
So what we tried to do, and very unfortunately unsuccessfully, because I think here what we see is that Congress needs an administration that's willing to work with it. What we did not have was an administration that was willing to work with us to implement things to stop ISIS from coming to the United States.
What were you recommending that Congress do? What did they want to do to stop ISIS over a year ago?
So what we needed to do was to, one of the things you had mentioned, let's lock down the borders. Let's not only lock down the borders, but let's push the borders out. Let's bring this fight to the people that want to hit us in our homes. Let's hit them in their homes first, because what we don't want to have happen is we don't want them to come here. Now it's too late. Now we have to move on to Plan C and Plan D. And you know, part of that plan is to continue to hit them where they are, to continue to hit them, but we have to be willing to absolutely destroy them. This is not a group that's going to go away with just air power. We need a lot of intelligence, we need a lot of information, and we need direct action here.
Well, we know that, Joshua, and yet we're saying we're putting together a coalition, but not with Iran and not with Syria, and there's got to be boots on the ground. It's not going to be Americans. Who's going to be in the boots?
Well, you know, I think, Judge, this is a great question, because it's a question I've been asking. This administration's been great in the past about touting who's on its coalitions. They don't have anybody here. And the reason they don't have anybody here is because they know, our allies in the region, our partners in the region know we're not committed. We have to show commitment.
All right. How soon? People say, you know, we hear what happened in Australia just a couple of days ago, this imminent plan to just do random beheadings with machetes. What can you imagine? Are these just going to be lone wolves? Do we know what it's going to be? And what can people do to prepare?
So there's two great questions. Let's first address where they're going to come from here, because I think, first of all, they're already here. But where ISIS really differs, and where ISIS really scared me a while ago, was that they are using Americans, they're using Westerners, they're using Western Europeans who have free access to the United States. So they understand that the best way to get at us, they don't have to cross the southwest border. They just have to fly into Kennedy. So it's unfortunate. That's
a reality. But what do people do to prepare? What can they do?
So one of the first things they can do is they can have this honest discussion. We can identify that there is a threat out there. When they identify the threat, then we can start to plan. We can start to plan as households. You know, I just had a conversation tonight with my family about this same topic, about what do we do? What is our family plan?
What do you do? We're coming up against a break. What do we do?
So what we need to do is you need to plan for the worst and hope for the best. But you cannot have, your plan can't be hope here. Hope is not a plan. You know, we learned this in the military. I use that at the CIA. You need a home plan.
What's the home plan? Give me an idea. What do you do?
the home plan is to know how to communicate without your cell phone, know how to communicate without email, know where your kids are, know where your emergency supplies are, have emergency supplies, have water, have food, just real basic things. Because if an emergency situation, whether it's ISIS or a hurricane, it doesn't matter. A plan's a plan. You will fare a lot better than your neighbors will.
All right, Joshua Katz, thanks so much for being with us this evening.
Thanks for having me.
All right. And coming up more on the